entries are now on the track and parading for the feature of the evening, the 11th edition of the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Cup Invitational Pace, carrying a purse of $10,000. Drawing the rail in tonight's select field of invitational pacers is one of three maritime-bred hopefuls. He is a son of Drop-Off out of the Bee Gees Bunny Dam Nan's Bunny with a career mark of 155-2, taken just 4 starts back at Rideau Carleton Raceway in Ottawa. This 4-year-old has lifetime earnings of just under $45,000 for owner Neil Mouse of Cornwall, PEI. Trained and driven by the very capable Mike McDonald from Post 1 is Woodmere Jet. From Post 2 is Dr. Ian Moore's entry in this year's edition of the Exhibition Cup. He is a 4-year-old Ontario-bred son of Cam Luck out of a Brett Hanover mare. He sports a nice mark of 154 flat, taken over Woodbine Raceway last year as a 3-year-old. This career earner of over $44,000 was a recent third-place finisher in the Rich McCain Invitational Pace last week at Woodstock Raceway. Dr. Ian Moore of Winslow, PEI owns, trains, and will drive from Post 2, Garth Seelster. From Post 3 is the second of 3 maritime breds in tonight's Cup field, owned by George Anderson of New Glasgow and Perry Ivany of Halifax. This 4-year-old son of Chatham Light, All the Gold, has 2 second-place finishes and just 3 maritime free-for-all appearances. He recorded his life's mark of 157-2, 5 starts back here at Truro, and all of his lifetime earnings of over $32,000 were earned right here in the Maritimes. Trained by Rod Jameson, and Rod will drive from Post 3, Tenderfoot. Drawing Post 4 in tonight's $10,000 test is the recent acquisition of Tap Equities of Truro. Since his arrival in the Maritimes, this 5-year-old gelded son of Armbro Emerson has won 6 of his 9 starts, setting a Maritime season's mark of 155-4 in the Johnny Conroy here in Truro. He tops the field in lifetime earnings with just over $169,000 on his papers and holds a speed badge of 153-4. Trained by Joey Green from the Danny Romo stable and driven by Truro's leading driver Danny Romo. From Post 4, El Perfecto. Lloyd and Amy Denton of New Maryland, New Brunswick are the proud owners of this maritime-bred three-legged son of Drop-Off. He owns the fastest mark of any in tonight's field by virtue of his 153 winning performance this year over the ultra-tough Meadowlands racetrack in New Jersey. This 4-year-old also tops the field in seasonal earnings with $51,450. Lloyd Denton is the trainer, and Lonnie Stokes has been called upon to drive from Post 5, Woodmere Topcat. Leaving from Post 6 is a 5-year-old gelded son of Die Laughing out of the storm-damaged mare Spring Flood. This Ron McDonald trainee has won 5 of 26 on the year while pacing to a new life's best of 155 at Montreal. Seasonal earnings of $28,157 with lifetime total $49,748. Owned by Brett McLennan of Charlottetown, Paul McDonald gets the driving assignment behind number 6, Floodwaters. From Post 7 is a 4-year-old Ontario-bred son of Cam Luck, who is making his first start on maritime soil. Recently purchased by owner Sandra Foley of Fredericton, New Brunswick. This gelding paced to a new life's mark 2 starts back on the tough OJC circuit by taking a $25,000 claiming event in 154 flat. Seasonal earnings of just over $36,000 brings his life's total to over $50,000. Trained by Sandra Foley, the KG veteran Phil Pinkney is aboard number 7, Gimme Luck. That is your field for the 11th edition of the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Cup Invitational Pace. They'll go to the gate in approximately 10 minutes.
He's been consistent all year and also has some good early gate speed.
Yeah, he can leave the gate pretty good, and of course the guy sitting behind him is next to a genius, Roddy. He's probably one of the top horsemen in the country as far as getting one off the gate and handling one. He's a real good driver, Roddy Jameson. You can't take anything away from his. You know, he's just tremendous, and I know that this horse will be on the gate, and I know he'll probably leave with him, and he'll give a good account of himself.
One of the horses, I should say, that has taken over the spotlight with the absence of Comedy Hour tonight is El Perfecto, largely because of the success that he had at Woodstock last week, winning the McCain. But as well, if you look over the card, 8 wins from 14 starts for El Perfecto, and he paced to a new, not a new lifetime mark, but a pretty good trip over a half-mile track, 1:55.4 right here in the Johnny Conroy.
Yeah, and he's got to be one to consider, you know, as one of the top contenders in here because he's such a steady horse. He always gives a good account of himself. And like you say, he's always 1, 2, 3. And again, look who's behind him.
It doesn't hurt. It's funny how these top-class horses always attract top-class drivers.
Certainly do, and Danny's a top-class driver.
And one guy I think who's been underrated for a long stretch is Lonnie Stokes, and I'm really excited to see him get a chance here with a top-class horse, Woodmere Topcat. He's free-legged. He's a horse that was very, very competitive. I think back to a race in St. John where he was just photoed out in the Dairy Queen final, I think it was, against Romeo Boucher's colt Chattahoochee. And Woodmere Topcat has really shown this year with that early meet that he enjoyed at the Meadowlands, a horse that can compete with these top-class pacers. And after being off from mid-April, he came back, finished second in the McCain Memorial, was just beaten by a nose by Mr. Rude, and then that follow-up trip in Bangor last weekend, he shows that maybe he could be a horse to be reckoned with.
Yeah, Lonnie's another very capable driver, and it's good to see him with a top-class horse right here and getting a shot at this. And Woodmere Topcat, of course, is going free-legged, and he's a pretty good-looking horse. I watched him warming up, and he's a smooth horse, that's for sure.
And Paul McDonald's been around before?
Yeah, Paul's kind of an underrated guy, too. He's always kind of taken a back seat to Mike because of Mike being up country and then coming back with some stars. But Paul McDonald, I'll tell you, Paul McDonald can handle a horse real good, and when he's in tough, he gets tougher. And Paul McDonald's got a good horse here, this Floodwaters, and I look for him to give a good account of himself, too.
Another horse that we haven't seen yet here in the Maritimes was just claimed probably about 4 weeks ago by Sandra Foley from Fredericton. She's got Mr. Rude. He finished second in the backup class tonight. Tonight, Gimme Luck makes his debut on the Maritime harness racing scene. A horse that was claimed for $20,000 from Woodbine Racetrack. She has him paid into the Gold Cup and Saucer, and we'll get a chance to see how he handles the half-mile track. Do you think that'll be much of an adjustment for this horse?
Well, I watched him warm up, and he looked very good warming up. I don't think the adjustment, of course, there's always some adjustment, but I don't think the adjustment's going to bother him. He's a good gaited horse, and of course, he's got a pretty good guy steering him, too.
We've got some time now to kind of analyze how the race might go, Scott, and you were bang on in that mare's race, kind of making a fool out of me in a way. Sorcier Fantasia did have a lot early, and that helped on Pogie again. It was exciting to see her come from the back of the field. How do you think this race might shape up in the first turn?
Well, it certainly depends on whether Woodmere Jet can handle the first turn. If he can get around the first turn, I think he's going to be on top. I know Tenderfoot will leave, and probably El Perfecto will leave out enough, I think, to try to grab the 3 spot. I don't know about Gimme Luck. From what I could see of him at Woodbine, he comes from the back. But I look for Woodmere Jet and Tenderfoot for the early speed, and I look for El Perfecto to sort of come on through the stretch, and it should be one heck of a race.
And so who are you calling to win?
I'm going to go with the one horse mainly because he's got the rail, and I know Mike didn't bring him home here just to show him off. He brought him home here to win a race, and he's got the rail, and I think that's going to be to his advantage. I'm going to go with him to win, El Perfecto for second, and I'm going to go with a long one for third, Gimme Luck.
Okay, they say never bet with your heart, but I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to pick all 3 of the Maritime breds in the triactor, and I don't think that's that much of a long shot. I know for people that are watching at Fredericton Raceway tonight that there's a lot of interest with 2 Fredericton-owned horses in this event. I'm going to pick Woodmere Topcat to win. I'll look for some quick early fractions and for Woodmere Topcat to shake loose, maybe past the 5/8 mile marker, and Lonnie will give him a good steer. I'm going to go with, as well, the one entry, I think that Woodmere Jet is definitely going to be a factor early in the mile, and Tenderfoot has been consistent to the degree that I think that he could give somebody a scare here.
Oh, he certainly can, that's for sure, and he likes this racetrack too.
So it's going to be very, very interesting. 4 minutes to post time for the 11th running of the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Cup. It is also, Scott, a leg, the 5th leg of the Maritime Invitational Pacing Series Comedy Hour, currently leading the point standings. They will go on. The next race in this series is at Charlottetown Driving Park coming up on the 24th of August in the Kinsman Pace. They'll have 2 more opportunities from there to earn points for one of the 8 spots in that championship final. Inverness also has a leg of that series, and Walter Dale Memorial at Fredericton, which is going to be Fredericton's last date in September, will be the final leg. So still a lot of things to be shaken down.
A lot of action yet to come, for sure.
We're looking forward to an awful lot of this, and we'll give you a chance to look over the program here about 3 minutes to post time. Thanks, Scott.
Exhibition Cup field is now moving in behind the gate. Race number 14, the 11th edition of the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Cup Invitational Pace for a purse of $10,000 has Woodmere Jet, Garth Seelster, Tenderfoot, El Perfecto, Woodmere Topcat, Floodwaters, and Gimme Luck. Here they come. They're off and pacing and firing off the wings of the gate. Very alertly there was El Perfecto, and he'll grab the early lead before they hit the first turn. El Perfecto quickly crosses over to grab the lead. Getting away at the rail is Woodmere Jet to sit second. Settling out in a 3, that will be Tenderfoot. In along the rail, Garth Seelster grabs 4th. 5th is Woodmere Topcat. Gimme Luck parked out in 6th. And 7th and trailing in the early going, that is Floodwaters. They head on past the opening quarter. El Perfecto out front, dictating the pace, leading the field by a length. Woodmere Jet will get the perfect trip second. On the inside and racing out of 3, that's Tenderfoot. Next in line, Garth Seelster from 4. Woodmere Topcat is caught in along the rail, 5th. Gimme Luck starting 6th on the outside, and Floodwaters is the 7th one. They were past the quarter in 28 and 3/5 seconds, still unchallenged on the front end. That's El Perfecto leading it by a length. Woodmere Jet is content to follow in the pocket, with Tenderfoot next in line 3rd. Now peeking to the outside, Garth Seelster from 4. Along the inside, Woodmere Topcat elects to save ground 5th. Outside and racing 6th is Gimme Luck, and still at the back is Floodwaters. The half, 57 and 3. They head to the backstretch on to 3/4. El Perfecto, nobody to within 1 length of him as they move on to 3/4, but Woodmere Jet is tracking second, and he now steps to the outside. They head past 3/4. Woodmere Jet has pulled the pocket on El Perfecto. They race out of the 7/8. El Perfecto asked for more. Woodmere Jet, he's drawing right alongside. Those two have opened up 3 lengths on the 3rd place, Garth Seelster. They have an 8th to come. 1:27 and 1 to 3/4. El Perfecto is being tested by Woodmere Jet. Woodmere Jet on the outside. El Perfecto digging in at the rail. It's Woodmere Jet and Mike McDonald. Woodmere Jet will win it for Mike McDonald. Second is El Perfecto. Garth Seelster finishing 3rd. The inquiry sign has been posted. Please hold on to all tickets.
Mike McDonald, an anxious moment maybe on your way back, but you have the race now, a 1:55 and 4. Some people may be a little bit surprised because you went to the outside rather than wait for the passing lane. The aggressive move paid off.
Yeah, I tried to take him down a pass lane a couple of times before, and he wouldn't go in the pass lane very good. So I said I'd move him out. He's pretty tough anyway, and so I knew that he'd live out there. But I didn't know if he'd win, but I knew he'd live out there. He doesn't like to go in the pass lane.
Super trip. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
That's Mike McDonald, 1:55.
Now back in victory lane is the winner of the 11th edition of the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Cup Invitational Pace. Number 1 on your program's Woodmere Jet. A 4-year-old brown son of Drop-Off out of the Bee Gees Bunny Dam Nan's Bunny. He's owned by Neil Mose of Cornwall PEI, trained and driven to victory by Mike McDonald. Woodmere Jet pacing the mile in 1:55 and 4/5. Down in victory lane, making the cooler and trophy presentation to the winning entry, Woodmere Jet. Owner Neil Mose and Mike McDonald is Cyril Reddy from the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition, along with Bert McQuaid from the Atlantic Lottery Corporation, presenting the cooler and trophy to the winning entry of the Exhibition Cup Invitational Pace. Mike McDonald, Woodmere Jet, and owner Neil Mose in 1:55 and 4/5.